Welcome to today's Garage Devotional. I'm Pastor Ted from Connect Church in Ventura. Today we're continuing our series in the strange, weird, and unique Bible passage. This is part 15. We're kind of shifting a little away from the really strange ones and just kind of looking at some that might be strange to you or strange to me or we find kind of unique and we want some more understanding in it. But today the title of this one is The Power and Peace of Understanding. When we have understanding, we could have peace. When we have understanding, we could have power to know how to act. Today, the key thought is found in Psalm 49:5, and we'll read that here in a minute or two. But let's look at our strange and unique car today. Today's car is a Dodge Deora. It is somewhat of a pickup, or maybe closer to a Chevy El Camino. Dodge did not put the Deora into production. It stayed as a concept car, but when it was presented as a concept car, it won the prestigious Riddler Award, which is in the car industry one of the top awards you can get. But they didn't put it in production. They left it. The car had a six-cylinder, which was not very big of an engine. It's a slant six for Dodge. But the Dodge six-cylinder slant six was a workhorse. Wasn't that speedy, but was a workhorse. But they also, as we look at the Deora, which you'll see in a minute, it had a truly unique design. The large front windshield that you'll see opened upward, and then the bottom panel dropped down and curved perpendicular to the car, opening it up so that the driver could slip in and the one passenger that it would fit could slip in, and then it all closed back down. It was one of the first cars to be made into a production Hot Wheels car, and over the years it still became a production in the Hot Wheels line. The original one sold for $324,500. That's a lot of money. And around 2004, Chip Foose helped build another Dodge Deora, and even more futuristic. And of course, he threw in a V8 to make it go a lot faster than the old one. So let me show it to you so you kind of have an idea of what the Deora looks like. Here it is, a lot of straight lines. You see, very futuristic for that time. The one Chip Foose did is even more futuristic. But it's not a bad looking car, but you see that big windshield, it raises up, and then that bottom panel there in the center goes down and then swings in. So the driver and the passenger get in. And it had a back bed. It wasn't very large, but it had a back bed. It's a unique looking car. Not bad, but I don't know if I'd want to drive it around a lot. But great car. All right, let's now jump into our devotional today. I have about 3 points, and we'll just talk about through this. Number one, the difficulties we face should not surprise us. In other words, we shouldn't be surprised by difficulties or struggles. Our world for millennia has had difficulties and had troubles and etc. all the way down. There will be times in our lives where trouble will come. It happens in every generation. How we handle it, though, will have a large part of determining what our lives will look like. And in that, how we handle it, we need to realize that we should not be afraid. I mean, we all fear at times, but Jesus says for us not to be afraid. Why? Because he's overcome the world. Here in Psalm 49:5, it says this, "Why should I fear in times of trouble? When the iniquity of those who cheat me surrounds me." The psalmist says, why should I be worried? Why should I fear troubled times or fear the iniquity of people who want to steal and do all these things? Why should I fear it, even if it surrounds me? He's talking about that we have confidence in Jesus and we could trust in him. We have confidence in Jesus and his word that tells us he will never leave us or forsake us. The psalmist wrote, "The Lord is a stronghold in times of trouble," Psalm 9:9. Hear that, the Lord is a stronghold. We're protected in times of trouble. All of us struggle with fear at times. This is when we need to look to Jesus. We need to look to his word, as well as getting others around us to help us, to encourage us, to stand with us and stand with us in faith. We have others that we could depend upon. when we have trouble from natural causes and our diseases or all kinds of turmoil, real or perceived, from within or without, Jesus said, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you'll have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. John 16:33. So he tells us that we should not fear. He tells us that we should not have persecution, definitely from within our friendships or within the body of Christ. That should never happen. But he tells us that we should not feel troubled. We should not fear difficult times. He goes on to say, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world. As I said, John 16:33. We find our strength and our peace in understanding that Jesus has overcome every obstacle, every world system, every spiritual power that opposes him and those that oppose us. I encourage you to read the whole 16th chapter of John there so that you may grab a hold of all that Jesus provided for you and while he's provided for me, the resource that he shows us, and that every time we need him, he is there. And not only that, but that he will help us not only make it through difficult times, but thrive in difficult times, having no fear. Second, learn how to understand the times we live in. 1 Chronicles 12:32 says, of Issachar, men who had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. The people of Issachar understood the times that they lived in, and that understanding gave them their ability to know how to navigate the times, and not just how to navigate the times, but to how to act and thrive in them. We need to learn how to exegete the time that we live in so that we might know how to live and navigate and how to bless others and share hope in Jesus during difficult times. Jesus likens it to the understanding of weather. In Matthew 16:1-4, he says, understanding our time, or any time, provides us insight into the world. I want you to read that passage. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Matthew 16:1-4. But he says, you look at the skies and you say it's going to be either sunny or rainy. You don't know how to understand the skies and the weather. He challenges us, and he challenged the Pharisees here. Hey, look at spiritual signs. So see the spiritual signs that show us where tribulation is going to be, where challenge is going to be, and how to navigate them. We need to discern, and we need to look at our spiritual world the same way we learn how to look at the weather and see that, it's going to rain or it's not going to rain. But we need to look at the spiritual world through Jesus' word for the same thing. It involves knowing and learning Jesus' plans. It involves his gift of new life and the purpose that he has given to us through that new life. That's how it helps us to understand the times we live in and realize that the last days started with the birth of Jesus. This is nothing new. The last days have been going on since the birth of Jesus, and we're just getting closer to his return. Third point and last is, maybe the greatest point of this, is that we need to understand that the greatest thing we could do to have understanding to our times and understanding and how to treat people and all those things is love. Unconditional love that puts others first. That is the best way to begin to understand the times we live in, that we look through the eyes of love. We look through the word of Jesus, and we see people the way Jesus sees people, and we see our world the way Jesus sees our world. And that'll give us the best leg up first to begin understanding how to live in these times and realize we have nothing to fear. Perfect love casts out all fear. That's what Jesus said. Perfect love casts out all fear. So we don't have to fear. We don't have to do that. But Jesus calls us, like the people of Issachar, the men of Issachar, to understand the times. He doesn't want us to put our head in a hole, but he wants us to understand the times and then act in love and act in putting others first so that we might be able to thrive in the times that we're in. Well, that's it for today. We'll look at another passage next week. Blessings to you.